Kuzangpola, Bhutan e-learning project welcomes you to this session for media studies in Key Stage 5, that is, class 11 and 12. I am Desang Dorji, and today's topic is going to be about new media world and citizenship orientation. So before we get further along, let's see what are we trying to achieve in this lesson. So at the end of the lesson, you should be able to understand the role of new media and identify the role of new media in citizenship orientation. Tell a few roles of the citizen towards the use of new media and analyze issues of political communication using new media in this new era. So, the world of new media. Let us see what we have learned about new media in our previous lesson. So, what is new media? New media is a form of media that is based on computers and it depends on computers for redistribution. Everything happens on a digital gadget. Our games, computer games, messaging apps, virtual world, computer interfaces are all examples of new media. Now, when you compare this to old media, which used to have TV to broadcast TV programs, magazines, and news books or newspapers for text information, camera to only capture images, telephone for only telecommunication, radio for just radio station and radio channels. So this is the world of old media. When it comes to new media, it is very different. One computer can do the work of all different forms of the old media. So how has new media changed the world? Now, with the help of new media, we are able to do a lot of things that we could not do in the old media world. In the old media, we had access to information, but that was on books. So these books were found in libraries or bookstores. So you would have to buy a hard copy for it. But with the new media, we have it on our phone or our electronical gadgets. And it's very easy to have access to this media or information. With the help of new media, people are able to find groups or topics that are an interest to themselves. In the old media, if you wanted to find somebody or something that you were interested about, it was very difficult. Now, it's very easy to find the information related to your interests, and through that, you can also find a smaller group of people who shares the same interest. In previous old media, citizens were very passive. They only relied on particular information that the government passed on. Now, that is not the case. Citizens are very active contributors in the policy, in decision making. So, citizens have become active from being passive. Their online polls, chats help them contribute in the government's decision making. For the present government has already started a WeChat group called the Jun and Misegi group where they discuss certain issues and public opinions are directly shared to the minister and the prime minister. In the old media world, it was very hard to specify which target audience they had in mind. They usually would go for a larger group of audience. Why? Because it was very slow and it was very expensive. Now, with the new media world, we are able to target a specific audience. If you create a Facebook page for people who love animals, that would only share information and news related to animals. And people just have to click the like button or the subscribe button. So that is how it is being made very easy. In the olden media, time and space were very crucial because anything that took a lot of time or consumed a lot of space was very expensive. I'm sure you might not know, but there used to be a time when computers were as huge as a room and could only have memories in KBs, kilobytes. In the old media, to store books, we needed space. But with the new media, time and space are irrelevant. You can sit at your home and just by going through your phone, you have informations that are stored in some libraries in another country, or you can check how the world looks from the space without ever going to the space. With the help of new media, we are also able to do mass movements or the populist movements. I'm sure you must have seen a lot of petitions being asked to sign or share on Facebook. We had a petition that was shared for animal cruelty and for all other issues. Now, people use these platforms to advocate and to share concerns that individual things must be addressed to. In the old media, that was not possible. In the old media, we were passive audience. We would only depend on the information that came to us. But if we ever had to share, we would have to go to the office, meet the person, and then have conversation face to face. This could be very intimidating for most of us. This could be very intimidating for a lot of people. But with the help of new media, we can interact with whatever is being shared. If our Ministry of Education shares the timetable of the BPS learning, people can comment about which subject it is, and then the admin of the page would reply. So it becomes more active interaction. And because of this interactivity, because of this interactivity, we are able to feel closer to each other. We might not feel intimidated and we might not have this barrier whereby we are not able to reach out to each other. Now, because of all these factors, citizens put more input in the decisions that are made in our development or whatever the government decides to take. Every plan, citizens are able to give their feedback and opinion. Even today, as we air this lesson on BBS, I'm sure we have made mistakes, we have had some error. You send us your feedback, interactivity happens, and in the next lesson we become better. So that is how all these barriers are not relevant anymore. Now, when we talk about how new media has to help citizens in becoming better citizens, we must also think of the other side. Because information is easily accessible, can easily be edited in this new media world, citizens must also be careful of what they do. So there are certain roles a citizen must fulfill in this new media world. So let us look at what are those certain roles. Number one, they must be aware of what is allowed and what is safe and genuine. Because you sit at the corner of your house and nobody is looking at you does not mean you can do anything you want. Whatever you do should never harm a person, a community, or anyone. It should be safe and genuine. Number two, we must learn to select the content that we want to share, and at the same time we must learn to manage our accounts. I'm sure all of us have lots of social media accounts. So in our social media accounts, what are we sharing? Yes, we have the right to share whatever we want, but we must be wise enough to know whether what we are sharing should be shared. Number three, be aware of fake information. Because anyone can have access and accounts on social media or in the world of new media, people have created lots of scams, hawks, or a lot of fake information. Now, as a citizen, we must be very careful of what we consume. We must be careful that the information that we consume and share to others is not fake. Just because it sounds interesting shouldn't be the reason you are sharing a video on WeChat. If it is fake, please do not share. Number 4. Be aware of online abuse. We may question if someone can be bullied online. Yes, they can be, and indeed it is happening. Although everything we do is recorded and saved in our electronic gadgets, there is no guarantee that all these information are well protected. It can be used or hacked by others in order to bully and abuse us. Therefore, we all must be extra careful to keep our files and documents secured. Number 5. Get education on safe use of online materials. Our Google, our web is an ocean of information. You can retrieve anything from there, but in that ocean there are fish you can eat, there are fish you cannot eat. So when we use online or when we use web-based material, let us be careful on the material that we are using. First, let's make sure that it is correct. Second, let us make sure that the contents in it are updated and accurate. And third, let us share this information ethically. Number 6. Do not engage in plagiarism. Let us not say proudly that somebody else's work is ours. We must cite from where we have got the information, the institute, the book, the author must be cited. We must give a reference of whose work we are looking into in order to retrieve such information. So these are things a citizen must be careful of. These are the roles of a citizen in a new media world. While when both citizens and new media platforms have become responsible users and givers, we again risk on the political communication, especially when new media has become a popular phase in politics. There are also many issues behind political communication. So let us look into those issues. Number 1, media entertains people with more news highlighting political discord and scandals. Number 2, the newer communication format such as talk radio and the internet attracts people from better socio-economic and educational background. Number 3, and in some ways, a lot of the political information are not available to millions of people who are not able to use the resources and do not have the skills to participate in such media. Number 4, people with similar interests might group themselves and lose the bigger picture or the interests of the bigger community. So they might group themselves and lose the bigger picture. Now, when there are so many issues, we must think